no place like the Q. Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment.
Keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. Our liberation is collective, and we have to have each other's back because we keep us safe. The government won't keep us safe. The politicians won't keep us safe. The police will definitely not keep us safe. We keep us safe, so keep showing up for your people.
Our liberation is deeply connected, and we keep each other safe. Come on, Chris. That was Chris Mosier, the man who changed the Olympics, the first transgender athlete to represent the United States in international competition, and my homie. I appreciate him so much and how he shows up in the world. I got a chance to catch up with him at World Pride at the March on Washington. And I wanted to share these words with you today as we close out Pride Month. And just remember how far we've come, but how far we have to go, especially as we commemorate 10 years of marriage equality this month. Obergefell versus Hodges changed everything. And today that fundamental right is being challenged. So we got to remember our liberation is deeply connected, family. Now, QCrew, what's going on? Thank you for your continued commitment to helping me sustain this podcast. I appreciate you so much. The QCrew helps to cover the costs for our editor, Ryan, who I quite literally couldn't do this podcast without. And honestly, I wouldn't want to do it without him, okay? So if you believe in the work we do here, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, join the QCrew. A link is in the show notes. Now, family, do you have a local news story not getting enough amplification, a queer organization other folks should know about? Are you an artist? Do you have a song coming out? Send in a queer news tip. I love hearing about them all, so please keep them coming. Info on how to submit is in the show notes, okay? Now for the news. In politics, let's talk about the Supreme Court's final rulings as their term comes to an end, as well as some major victories in Delaware and San Antonio. In culture and entertainment, Chicago's iconic gay bar Sidetrack might become the country's first gay bar in an airport, while Chicago is also named the #1 travel destination for LGBTQ travelers. And family, we got another documentary for you on Netflix that is a must-see. Now let's get into it. Family, in politics, the Supreme Court closed out its term with a litany. Okay, a whole litany. That was the best word I could find to describe all of these major rulings, mostly favoring Trump, which isn't a surprise, right? But the implications are still very real. So let's talk about two of the big rulings that dropped. And yes, they cut both ways, okay? So first, let's go with the bad news, yes? In a 6-3 decision, the court ruled that parents must be allowed to opt their kids out of classes when course material, like books with LGBTQ characters, conflicts with their religious beliefs. As GLAAD put it, this decision, quote, empowers censorship and undermines every student's right to learn about the diversity of the world around them. This ruling has school boards and teachers worried it could open the floodgates to even broader book bans and curriculum challenges. And family, that is exactly what will happen because of this ruling. It is my belief that in public school, we should be following the Constitution, freedom of religion, freedom of thought, freedom of speech. And should parents be able to opt their kids out? Yeah, in private school. I just think it's wild how the right can use government overreach when it is in their favor. This decision is very disappointing, and it opens the floodgates to things like don't say gay again, right? And that's why it's so important for states that affirm LGBTQ folks, that affirm diversity, equity, and inclusion to continue to protect those in their states. Because as we can see, the federal government is not on our side. Now, in the good news, y'all want some good news? Come on. In a separate 6-3 decision, the court upheld a key piece of the Affordable Care Act. That means millions of Americans, including LGBTQ folks, will still have access to free preventative care like PrEP and HIV prevention. HIV advocates are calling this ruling, quote, a life-saving victory, especially at a time when attacks on LGBTQ health are on the rise. We talk about gender-affirming care, right? All of the bans across the country, but this right here is major, family. PrEP is a life-saving drug. And I've just been working a campaign with AIDS United, educating Black women about PrEP. It is so important for us to be centered around preventative care. So this is a major win. In the midst of it all, family, this right here is a win. Now, family, we have another city to add to our sanctuary list. And it is Delaware. You heard me right? Delaware. Delaware's Governor Matt Meyer has signed an executive order making the state a sanctuary for gender-affirming care. So what does this actually mean? It means no state agency can cooperate with subpoenas, investigations, or enforcement efforts from other states. It also means providers can't be disciplined just for offering care that's legal in Delaware. Patient privacy is protected, and extradition requests for trans youth seeking care or those providing it are flatly rejected. Not allowed, okay? No extradition, no sharing of medical records, just protection in Delaware. Governor Meyer put it best by saying across the country, people are being punished for seeking or providing gender-affirming care. In Delaware, we cherish privacy, dignity, and the right to make personal medical decisions. And he went on to say, as he got emotional during the signing, saying that we're at a time in our country when people are under attack. And the people under attack are some of our most vulnerable. This comes, family, right after the Supreme Court upheld Tennessee's ban. We talked about it last week, their ban on gender-affirming care. So this is a really, really important move. We love to see this, Delaware, and now I hope other states fall in line and continue to codify their protections in their states. We've got family members who are refugees right now because of all of these bans. And so Delaware becoming a sanctuary for gender-affirming care, it's a big deal. It's important. I know it might be a surprise, but I've got more good political news. Gina Ortiz Jones has been elected the new mayor of San Antonio. Now, this is history-making and on Queer News because this makes Gina the first lesbian to serve as mayor in San Antonio. For context, San Antonio is the second largest city in Texas and the 7th largest in the U.S. She won in a runoff and she won 54% of the vote. Mayor Jones has served in the military as an intelligence officer in the Air Force, and she served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Part of her service included time in Iraq during the war as well. She says, we reminded them that our city is about compassion and it's about leading with everybody in mind. So I look forward to being a mayor for all. Come on, Mayor Jones, congratulations, as she was sworn in just a couple of weeks ago.
As someone who grew up being told who I shouldn't be, what I shouldn't say, who I shouldn't love, how I shouldn't show up, I stand here so proud to be the first Black trans woman ever elected to public office in Cook County. Let that sink in. At a time when so many young people are reaching out for help, they are choosing cruelty over care. We are living in dire times. We will not be erased, and we will never stop fighting for a world where all of us can thrive and lead with love and our lives full of dignity.
Family, the voice you just heard was Precious Brady Davis speaking on Wednesday, June 25th at Senator Mike Simmons' annual Pride press conference at the Gerber Hart Library and Archives. I'm always so honored to receive the invitation from Senator Simmons' office for this press conference. He is the first out LGBTQ state senator for Illinois, which is a huge deal. And Gerber Hart houses the largest collection of LGBTQ media and archives in the Midwest. You can literally get lost in all the history, trust me. Senator Simmons hosts this press conference every year with the explicit purpose of giving the community a voice. This year, he featured Precious Brady Davis, who you heard from at the top. She is the first Black trans woman to serve in public office in Cook County. The press conference also featured panels which hit on the topics of safety, mental health, physical health, and creating safe spaces. Leading voices from across the city spoke not only about their work, but how they are collaborating with each other to make Chicago a better place for every single LGBTQ person living here. And you know, I love to attend because I always learn something new. I heard about the Niles Pride and Morton Grove Pride that are happening. Now, these are communities that don't traditionally celebrate Pride, and they were celebrating for the first time. Iggy Ladden of Chicago Therapy Collective, they challenged us to expand how we think about mental health and to be more holistic in our practices. Rio Clinic just opened 2 years ago, and they have a peer space which is rooted by community for the community. I also heard about T-PAN and how they will begin a medication aid fund next year. And they tap community for their input because they believe we can't do this work alone. There was so much information shared, so family, stay close to E3 Radio's Instagram as I begin to share some of the videos and coverage from that press conference. So much in politics today. Let's take a quick break. Yes, and when we get back, let's jump into culture and entertainment. Hate is rising in Illinois, but you're not alone. Help Stop Hate is a confidential service that gives victims and witnesses the power to speak up. No judgment, just real help. When you report hate, you get support. Report hate to ilstophate.org or call 877-458-HATE, 877-458-4283. Help Illinois Stop Hate. Howard Brown is excited to launch a new monthly outreach initiative at the South Shore Library. That's right, on the south side of Chicago. Starting on June 26th, you can visit the South Shore Library to get a free HIV and STI screening every single month. Blood pressure and diabetes screenings, as well as name change support and linkages to care are also provided on a rotating schedule. Allow your screening to be a pathway to long-term access to care. We've got to take care of ourselves, family. For more information, visit howardbrown.org.
Mental health parity is the law requiring that your health insurance coverage for mental health or substance use disorders is no more restrictive than coverage for your physical health. Learn more about mental health parity laws at getcoveredillinois.gov.
Family, welcome back to the show. Now let's dig into culture and entertainment. A week or so ago, I opened my phone and saw a story about Sidetrack potentially becoming the first gay bar in an airport. I was blown away, okay? I was like, what? One, because Sidetrack is a longtime supporter of my work. We host our annual Purple Tie Affair there. They've sponsored queer news coverage. I co-host Outspoken, a monthly storytelling night. I MC the Sidetrack float during the Pride Parade. I mean, I've shared so many moments at Sidetrack over the years. It's a special place to me. Secondly, it was a reminder to me that you just never know where a dream will take you. When they opened their bar during a time of unrest, unequal protection under the law, and constant bar raids, they never imagined one day it would be one of the largest gay bars in the country, let alone have the opportunity to become the first gay bar in an airport. So family, imagine stepping off a flight at O'Hare, definitely one of the busiest airports in the world, and instead of heading straight to your gate, you head to Sidetrack. Well, that really could be a reality very soon. Sidetrack owners and lifelong LGBTQ plus activists Art and Pepe have teamed up with restaurateur Herman Gonzalez from Somos Hospitality Group to bid for a specialty bar space in Terminal 1 of O'Hare Airport. Art, who co-founded Equality Illinois as well, has spent decades, family, fighting for our community, and he reflected how far they've come when he talked to Block Club Chicago. He said, for a very long time, gay bars were the only place gay people could meet, and they weren't always friendly. Chicago wasn't always very friendly to me either. Most big cities weren't. He went on to say and remember a moment when he got arrested outside of Sidetrack, and he said, a cop said to me, "Are you the effing F, right, who owns this effing F bar? We got too many Fs in this part of the city. I'm shutting you down." And he threw him in jail. And now, family, decades later, that same bar might just be center stage at O'Hare, welcoming 80 million travelers a year. I think this is incredible. A patron of Sidetrack told Block Club, Chicago is a hub for international travel, so why not be the hub for international change? Of course, family, the bid isn't guaranteed. There are still months to go before the city makes a decision. But just the fact that this is possible challenges all of us to just dream a little bigger. Family, how about another Chicago story? Let's go. I love my city, y'all already know. And Chicago has been officially named the safest city in the United States for LGBTQ plus travelers. It topped Mr. B&B's new 2025 Queer Safety Index. That's right, family, we are number one. Aye. Now, y'all know Chicago isn't just my city. It's home to some of the richest queer history anywhere, from North Halsted, the nation's first recognized gay neighborhood, to Andersonville and South Shore, to being the city that hosted the first Pride Parade. Don't get it twisted. It was not New York. It was not San Francisco. It was Chicago. And it's not just about rainbow crosswalks or drag brunch on Sunday. It's about policy, protection, and the sense of belonging, okay? A spokesperson from Mr. B&B said, it's about combining where people are actually traveling with where they'll be the safest. This ranking looked at real data, hate crime stats, anti-discrimination laws, booking trends, and local protections. Chicago came out on top, beating cities like Seattle, San Francisco, Portland, and San Diego. Rounding out the top 10 are Honolulu, Denver, Albuquerque, Las Vegas, and Palm Springs. And at times like these, when our rights are being rolled back in some states and our rights are being protected in other states, lists like these really help us to determine where we want to spend our money, where we want to go and visit. Safety is not optional. Safety shouldn't be a luxury. Safety is mandatory. So just come on to Chicago, okay? Summertime Shy is not something you want to miss. And for our last story today, Pride Month content has not disappointed this month. I stopped counting how many times I watched Noah's Ark at this point. Let's just say I loved it, okay? Let's just say that. And then our editor, Tony, she texted me about this new Netflix documentary titled I Am Venus. Now, I went about researching and learning more. This doc is based on the life and death of Venus Xtravaganza. For all my Paris is Burning stands, I know you remember her because she was so memorable. I can see the scene where she's laying on the bed and talking about her life and her dreams. And if you're listening to this podcast and you've never seen Paris is Burning, I really need you to fix that before your gay card is revoked, okay? But I'm going to digress in this moment. Now, you may not know this, but Venus never got to see the documentary, never got to see or experience its success or its controversies because she was murdered before it was released. She was only 23 years old. Now, 35 years later, this doc tells the stories of how her families, Bio and Chosen, are still looking for answers as it pertains to her murder, while they also honor her legacy. I've only seen positive reviews from some of the toughest reviewers out here, okay? So I'll definitely be checking this out this week, and you should too. Family, you know what time it is. It's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. And I want to remind you of this chant. We exist, we resist. And I put my own little spin on it. You exist, we resist. And that's really what I'm feeling right now. What an incredible Pride Month I've had. My voice is exhausted from emceeing the Sidetrack Pride Parade float yesterday. And my body is tired, but my heart is so full. Spending 8 days in DC for World Pride and talking with LGBTQ folks from around the world who are resisting because we exist. Having the chance to facilitate 2 keynote presentations this month and talk about queer history and talk about my own story and talk about why telling our stories and preserving our stories are so incredibly important. Being able to guest MC the Chicago Sky Game, MCing during the Chicago Pride Parade. I mean, it has been an incredible month, and it's because this podcast has elevated my voice, this platform, our radio station to new places. And this is prayers being answered in real time. And I'm doing my best to stay present and to take it all in as life moves at the speed of lightning. And family, I'm here to tell you that we will continue to resist because we exist. And I love you, and I can't thank you enough for your consistent and continual support of this work. And we got so much more to do. So I hope you're ready, huh? I hope you're ready. And I just want to say thank you. Truly. Thank you. Till next week. Peace. If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is written and produced by me, Anna DeShawn. Podcast editing by Ryan Woodhall. And brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News Done Right.